That was one of the things that led to the discussion about, hey, we got to do a playoff too. Because how can you have an undefeated SEC team that doesn't get a chance to play for a national championship, right? Well, how can you? Florida State is one of the premier brands in this sport. They still are. They still are. Maybe not to the level of Michigan or Alabama or Georgia or even Clemson, in recent years. But that's a big-time blue blood program that knows what it's like to win multiple national championships, Heisman trophies, and yet it's not good enough. And to me, this also says Florida State better do everything they possibly can to get out of the ACC because it's not their fault. They beat two SEC. How do you beat LSU, Louisville, Florida, Clemson, and not be in the Final Four? I understand it's not a vintage Clemson team. Same with LSU and Florida. But these are brand names in the freaking sport. It's shocking. It's shocking. But I guess they got it right because you're going to get a better game. You're going to get a better game. Michigan, Alabama, hello?
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be, bring a lunch box, and you hear the phrase a two chin strap game because they're going to be hitting in that one.
All right, we'll continue talking about this. And you want to look and see what this playoff would have looked like if it was 12 teams? Pretty much the SEC Big Ten Challenge. Stay with halftime. Right back after the break.
The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast presented by White Curd Realtors, the Griffin Company.
I think Arkansas has got a chance to turn it around. Sam Pittman's goal has got to be to win football games next year. His first goal cannot be to win the fans back in the offseason. That's for the administration to worry about.
Subscribe to the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Brought to you in part by Bet Saracen.
Hi, it's Ben from Wow World of Wireless, your local Dish Premier retailer. Are you a DirecTV customer? Upgrade to Dish and get a $300 prepaid MasterCard. Just mention offer code DTV to Dish. And that's not all. With Dish and the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Upgrade to Dish from DirecTV today. Never run out of space again and get a $300 prepaid MasterCard when you mention offer code DTV to Dish. Visit us at our location at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture or call us today at 877-305-3474 to learn more and make the switch to Dish. That's 877-305-3474.
DVR recording capacity varies. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet-connected Hopper and compatible device. Gift card offer ends 1/17/2024. Eligibility requirements and restrictions apply. Call for full details.
Metal Mart offers high-quality, prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be the company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials you need to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. With locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, and Little Rock. Or catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Hardee's newest handcrafted recipe, candied bacon, coated with caramelized brown sugar and a hint of pepper. Try it on a made-from-scratch breakfast biscuit with egg and cheese, or with charbroiled Angus beef on a signature Frisco burger, or as its own salty sweet snack pack. Any time of day, candied bacon brings savory sweetness to all your favorite things. At Hardee's, goodness in the making. For a limited time at participating restaurants. Exclusions may apply by time of day.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, looking through the top 12 of the college football playoff rankings from the committee, and I do like the text from Wes in Fayetteville says that it is a playoff. He says it's not a playoff, it's an invitational. These can be the same thing. It's an invitational to be a playoff, like a tournament, just like the NCAA tournament, which is also an invitational, but they also have automatic bids for conference champions, and you're going to be doing the automatic bid thing next year for conference champions, the highest ranked conference champions, which pretty much makes them automatic bids. So out of the top 12, 11 of those teams are SEC or Big Ten teams next year. Think about that for a moment. That means you would have, the Big 12 champion has to get in that case. You're going to have four conference champions get an automatic bid with the best rankings, and then the automatic bid goes to the group of 5 that has the highest ranking, and then the rest of them are at large. So 11 of the top 12 are SEC or Big Ten next year. The only one that's not is Florida State. And they might be fighting the same battle again next year and the year after and the year after and the year after. Unless for them, and I don't know what some of their future scheduling is, Florida's got to be better than they were for Florida State, right? Because they're going to play them every year. They're going to play Miami, I guess, every year or nearly every year, depending on how the ACC schedules them. They need Notre Dame to be good and hope that they, one of the 6 teams that they play. It's a lot of hope in that case for a league, Matt, that also is sort of falling back in the national eye. And this. With their 13-0 conference champion, that's not going to change the understanding. Nothing will change the understanding of the ACC. Not bringing in the 3 schools that they're bringing in next year, Cal, Stanford, SMU. Like SMU would be one of the higher-ranked ACC teams right now at number 24. So I don't know. I mean, you're going to have there'll be annually one Big 12 team that gets in, one ACC team that gets in, and that's pretty much it. And then it's a tournament, Matt, between the Big Ten and the SEC. And at that point, why do you even have the other leagues as your partners?
So Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Iowa, you'd have those 4 Big Ten teams in, or you'd have at least 3 of them in, right? Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. If you're getting 3 teams into the 12.
Well, this year, and again, I'm saying like Washington and Oregon, as far as I'm concerned, are Big Ten schools.
Oh,
now.
there you go. Yeah. Well, and see what that's going to do too, Phil, is the games they're going to get watered down a little bit, and it doesn't matter that one loss isn't just a death sentence anymore, and it wasn't for Texas or Alabama this year, but you're going to be able to sustain one loss or two losses and still get into that playoff 12.
The arguments you'd be having now would be about, I mean, you're Michigan, Washington, Florida State, and I guess Texas would be automatically getting a bid, right? Because, well, no, Alabama would too, because they're a higher ranked conference champion, higher ranked than Florida State, so they would even get the bye next year under this circumstance. It really makes your head hurt a little bit, but I mean. You look at the biggest win for these teams, Florida State's biggest win was over who? LSU. Week 1, 13th ranked team, LSU. Alabama's biggest win, Georgia. As you pointed out, and I think you're right, because Georgia was top ranked all year. Once the committee rankings came out, that's probably the best win in the country. Then you'd go Texas's win over Alabama.
Week 2, so Florida State and Texas had their best wins in the first month of the season. Washington and Alabama had their best wins later in the year, which Washington they didn't take an L, but Alabama, what were they, 10-game winning streak now? But the best win came later on in the year. I think the committee that holds some weight with them.
I feel awful for the folks attached to Florida State, not because I have any allegiance to them.
There's nothing
or
you
have
can
a soft
say
spot.
that makes it any better. There's nothing you can say that's right. There's nothing that you can say that makes me understand it, because as a competitor, as a player, if I'm on that Florida State team, you can't say, hey, Florida State, well, if you would have done this, you would have been in. We did everything we were supposed to do. We went 13-0, and y'all kept us out. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I feel like winning a conference championship with your third-string quarterback does say something about the depth and talent on your team overall, too.
It's a real defense Florida State has. That's what I mean. That Florida State-Michigan game, I think Florida State could hang with those teams. Now, it would be a sloppy game. It wouldn't be your arcade style that everybody likes to see, because that Washington-Texas game, I'd have to think, Phil, that both teams are going to score 30-plus points in that game.
You realize that no SEC undefeated champion would ever be held out of the top 4. Never. Same out of the Big Ten. And it took for the Pac-12 this amazing year where they got all these great quarterbacks. And I mean, this is the best year the Pac-12 has had in over a decade as far as overall talent and the product on the field and the championship caliber, I think, of at least 2 of their teams. You could legitimately make – some people are trying to make a case for Georgia also to be included amongst the top 4. I think you could have made a case under certain circumstances maybe for like Washington and Oregon, because they played 2 of the tightest games. You know, Washington is better than Oregon just by that much. Just by that much. Should have always been a 12-team playoff, truthfully. It should have never just been to 4. 877-377-6963. For calls and texts on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. Greg in Farmington is with us first. Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Hey, morning, guys.
I could tell Greg's phone call would have a little bit of a problem since he was in the car there. So let's try Cecil. I think Cecil usually has a good connection. Doesn't sound like he's driving either. Cecil, how you doing?
I'm great. We definitely connected. In the house, shop, everywhere. All my cars. Hey, guys. I got a couple questions, so let me stay in fast. Okay, if Jefferson doesn't decide to jump in the portal, does he still fulfill the same contract that he is on for the money? And another thing is that the money game is Alabama, Texas. And I got one more thing. This is just my opinion. I mean, everybody got one. The conferences, I just think it's just so hard for – Phil, you just said something about the 12. Power 5, all the Power 5 schools, I figured this is just how I would do it. This is just exactly how I would do it. I would have a conference playoff. Like all the Power 5 schools, it's just like a tournament bracket, a basketball bracket. because that way the SEC would still have a chance to win. Regardless, their quarterback. And I ain't taking up for them because I'm an SEC guy. I'm a Razorback. But, if you go undefeated, regardless if a player get hurt, that's just not an excuse not to put them in there. And that way, if you have an ACC, SEC, Pac-10, Big 12, that like a bracket like that, and probably have two or the top two, or at least the top two teams in the playoffs out of each Power 5 conference. Is that how they doing that?
So I understand for this 12-team playoff next year, Cecil, they're doing the 4 byes go to the top-ranked conference champions, regardless if they're Power 5 or Power 4 or whatever it's going to be. And then there's a guaranteed spot for a group of 5 conference champion, and then it's all at large after that. This is what the playoff would be if it was 12 teams this year. Your byes would be Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama. First-round games would be Florida State hosting Liberty, Georgia hosting Ole Miss, Ohio State and Penn State. So you get 2 league games in the first round, which makes me think that the committee would probably redo the rankings a little bit and not have conference games. Liberty is the highest-ranked Group of 5 conference champion.
They're higher ranked than SMU? Okay. I was thinking if SMU would get in or not.
They're higher ranked by the committee by 1 spot.
Wow.
Now,
there you go, yeah.
Keep in mind, though, next year, SMU's not a Group of 5 team. They're in the ACC next year.
That's right.
So then they would be maybe an at-large team, but at number 24, probably not. Liberty would be in. Let's see, what else I got? Oregon and Missouri would be the other game. Alabama gets the winner of the Seminoles and the Flames. Texas would get the winner of the Rebels and the Bulldogs. Washington gets either the Nittany Lions or the Buckeyes, and then Washington would play either Oregon or Missouri. It's a very interesting looking playoff here. Let's go back to Greg. Maybe he's got a better connection. Hi, Greg. How are you?
Hey, guys. Apologize for that. Hey, Florida State should be in there. They go undefeated. Plus, everybody wants to talk about bodies of work. Let's look at the bodies of work. They did it with a backup quarterback. They still got the job done and ran the table, stayed undefeated, won their conference championship game. So, Florida State should be in there. And I hope they really get it worked out. In my opinion, your conference championship game winners, they're in. Undefeated, you're in. So they really need to look at this stuff and work on it if they want this stuff to be appealing to everybody. I won't say pleasing because you're never going to please everybody, but at least try to make it appealing to everybody. I'm out of here. Have a good one.
Thanks, Greg.
Phil, do you think this scenario, Bama beats Michigan, that gives Michigan a loss. Bama would be playing in the national championship game. Texas beat Washington, that gives Washington a loss. Texas would be playing Bama in the national championship game. Florida State beats Georgia to remain undefeated. Mm-hmm. Could they still be crowned national champions?
They can claim one. They could get voted potentially. I don't know if one of the 2 polls is beholden to the rank to the actual playoff games. I think that used to be the case with the BCS, but that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. If you could legitimately, you could have an undefeated team not be a national champion, and then a 1-loss team out of the Power 5 be a national champion.
Right.
You're exactly right. You are exactly right about that. Wow.
Let's go baseball. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. It's something like then what does the committee say then? It's just like they don't care. They're just taking your money anyways.
Well, they certainly got the kind of matchups that are going to draw tons of eyes. And
That's right.
Look, these playoff games are also television shows. That's got to also be inserted into it. And last year, you couldn't have put Alabama in with 2 losses. You just could not have done that. They didn't win the division. They could not have gotten in. But let's say Alabama last year would have had 1 loss. They get in over TCU. Easily get in over TCU. And for all the metrics you can point to, the number 1 metric that would have done that is name brand. That's Alabama and the ratings that go along with it. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. taking calls and texts throughout the show today. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation in 45 minutes, and Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South in our 1 o'clock hour. And a lot more after this.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
If you're just tuning in, this is Fan 23, Fansville's #1 sports radio station.
Brought to you by Tasty Dr. Pepper.
We are settling the great debate, best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos?
You know my mantra, Doug.
Yes.
Meaty early, cheesy late.
Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
No, it's nachos.
Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
This is halftime.
Touchdown!
Do you like paying your rent or mortgage every month? Of course not. Thanks to real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell and Shamrock Roofing and Construction, we're giving away free rent or mortgage payments for a year up to $15,000. Go to hitthatline.com and enter the free rent or mortgage for a year sweepstakes now through December 12th. Complete contest rules are at hitthatline.com. Let us pay your rent or mortgage for a year, courtesy of real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, Shamrock Roofing and Construction, and ESPN Arkansas.
Arts Barbecue and Burgers has the best burger in town. And every Saturday, enjoy any burger at Arts and get $1 off. Try Arts Bacon Cheeseburger, topped with house smoked bacon, or the Art Attack with bacon, ham, and a fried egg. And all of Arts burgers come with a mound of fresh cut fries, or upgrade to Arts homemade onion rings. $1 off all burgers every Saturday at Arts Barbecue and Burgers, 8203 Rogers Avenue, next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Champion Cycling can help you find the joy in cycling that has been part of their family for years. Register today through December 17th at hitthatline.com for your chance to win a specialized road bike. Whether you're a child getting your first bike or an adult who hasn't been on a bike in years or looking to podium at the next race, Champion Cycling wants to help you find the right bike. Go to hitthatline.com today and register for your chance to win. Brought to you by Champion Cycling, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Maybe our future
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Basketball tonight, Matt. Monday night basketball at Bud Walton Arena.
Woo.
Woo. Hogs playing the Paladins from Furman University at 7 o'clock.
Were they purple and silver? Is that what Furman is?
I know the purple. I think there's
yeah.
silver in there, too, yeah. Did you ever play Furman?
Never played Furman, but I want to say there was a year or so they made the NCAA tournament. That's the only way I would remember, yeah.
I remember Furman beating Pitt in football once and thinking, wait a minute, that actually can happen? And it did. They're a pretty good basketball team. 4-4 record. They lost by 1 point at Princeton. Princeton's one of the few undefeated teams in the nation. Lost by 1 point in Princeton in their last game. And, you know, they could give the Hogs some trouble when it comes to Arkansas defensively. Pick up my Furman notes here for the Paladins. It's a high-scoring team, 82 points a game. They will jack up a ton of threes tonight, Matt. 28 three-point attempts per game is what Furman averages. But they also seem to get ways to get really good, easy buckets because they're shooting 62% on two-point shots. So they're going to jack up a ton of threes. They don't hit them at necessarily a high rate, but they hit the two-point shots at a very high rate.
There are 6 players that lead the team in minutes. They're seniors and juniors. So they're a veteran team. You're right.
So are the Hogs.
Yeah.
Hogs are also one of those kind of teams. Pretty veteran club. 2 big games this week. You don't want to look ahead to Oklahoma right now because that's a few days off. You're going to focus on this one first. And there were a couple of SEC teams that took home losses over the weekend, Matt. Ranked teams too. Kentucky loses at home to UNC Wilmington. I think it's a decent Wilmington team. I think their record now is 6-2. But Mississippi State lost at home to Southern, and Southern is 2-6. Auburn also lost, but that was on the road at Appalachian State. So, yeah, you can't take anything for granted. You see a team that's coming in 4-4, 1-2 on the road, and it's not like Furman has necessarily played some of the best teams in the country. In fact, this will be the first team out of a major conference that Furman does play against. But you got to take them seriously because we've already seen Arkansas can lose a home game to a team that they should be beating.
Yeah, and you got to understand that they're a veteran team and they're trying to build their resume. A lot of times these teams, the way in is you got to win your conference tournament. But if you can beat some teams like this that might hold some weight later on in the tournament, getting you an at-large bid.
Well, the loss to Greensboro is already weighting down the net. And does anybody want to hear about net rankings on December the 4th? But they just came out, and this will show you the weight of that loss because it's Arkansas's, it's a home loss to a team that's pretty much a Q3 or Q4 team. The Razorback net is 117, which is 4th lowest in the Southeastern Conference, ahead of only LSU, Georgia, and Vanderbilt. So, I mean, whether you like it or not, these games really do have weight, and you can't really help yourself with your net ranking by winning this game. You can certainly hurt yourself by losing this game, and you see the effect of the loss to Greensboro. That loss has a lot more to do with Arkansas's ranking in that net than losses on a neutral site to Memphis and North Carolina. Those games would have helped your net. The Duke game, can you imagine what that net ranking would be without a win over Duke? I don't know. It would probably be somewhere in the 160s.
Well, it should just tell you. I don't know if the Hogs were looking forward to their trip in the Bahamas or what, but really honestly, that team UNC Greensboro, we beat that team 9 times out of 10 times. It's because we weren't focused. You weren't focused. You didn't come out and play your A game, and that's just part of it with the parity in basketball and getting some of these veteran teams, and then you get like Kentucky. They're real big still in getting the high school kids and some younger kids. You're kind of learning the system, and if you don't show up ready to play, the way that 3 points is more than 2, and everybody's shooting a 3, and they get hot on you, they can hand you an L.
So a committee could look at that game in March, and put a certain amount of weight on it. But I guess let's say
it only matters if we're 9-9 in conference play. If we take care of business.
I do wonder if This is what I was getting into. Let's say the Hogs, have this amazing month of February, which includes I don't have my schedule in front of me, but I guess I should
get 18 conference games.
Well, let's just say they have a great February,
okay.
and then win 3 games in the conference tournament, one of the hottest teams of any major conference going into March. But there's still this loss to Greensboro. If you're looking at potentially a 3 seed, does that loss really knock you back to a 4 or a 5? I guess I'd have trouble digesting that. Committee used to say that they would go by the last 10 games sometimes, put a little extra weight on that. They removed that from their criteria. It's the same idea, I guess, with the College Football Playoff Committee, although you're picking only 4 teams instead of 68. So, I mean, in a tournament, you can say, well, you got left out. People get upset about whether you're on a 4 or a 5 seed and that kind of stuff, but it's the teams that get left out of the tournament that it was always Billy Packer in front of the television camera just basically steaming because Oklahoma State or somebody got left out, and instead of being team number 68, they were team 69. I have a lot of trouble feeling bad for those teams. That's usually when I break out my world's smallest violin. I don't feel that way about a college football playoff with 4 teams in it, because you're not talking about somebody that, like you said, like 8-8 in the conference or 9-9 in the conference. I mean, you had a team that went undefeated.
How's as far as speaking of the Razorback basketball team, is Mark going to be back for the game this evening?
I know Muss said on Saturday it wasn't the back necessarily that they're worried isn't the right idea, just what they're paying attention to. It's the groin and the hip.
Okay.
So I guess I'd be surprised if he does play. And if he does play, maybe just a little bit, because I think you want to have him ready for Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that he's at least on the road to being ready for Oklahoma, because I think he practiced on Sunday, and Muss said it would basically have to do with whether or not he's able to practice and how he looks through the walkthrough. But I was surprised Jalen Graham even got on the floor against Duke. He didn't even travel to the Bahamas, but he was out there just a couple minutes. It's another guy that I'd like to see if he can be out there for more than a couple minutes, right? Because feels to me like you're going to need Jalen Graham. But you don't need him in this game necessarily. This isn't a team where like a Chandler Lawson has to come up big defensively or anything. Furman doesn't have that kind of size. Oklahoma does. Duke does. And that's what makes these games so different. Like, their games, I feel like Chandler Lawson might play 10 minutes. But when you get a guy like Filipowski out there, or a Zach Edey, or some of the really good big men in the Southeastern Conference, Chandler Lawson and Jalen Graham are going to come up as guys that you need on the court.
And it's kind of by committee, and you just like to see them just keep on going forward. You don't want a lot of backward steps if you're Jalen Graham. You want to keep building where when it gets down to it, he kind of has some minutes in him. He has his endurance up, because if you're not playing a lot now, it's really hard for coach to trust you, and it's really hard to be in game shape. So it's important to get some minutes now.
And you don't have a lot of games this month. I mean, you get your finals break. There's the Christmas break. I would love if Mark is back to what he looked like before the injury, before the Auburn game, and the same with Graham. Like, I feel if Arkansas can beat Duke without Tremont Mark, they can beat Furman without Tremont Mark. But the Oklahoma game is different. Like, that's one of the games where you can get a little notch on your resume. This is a better Oklahoma team, I think, than they had last year. In fact, they're one of the few undefeated teams in the country. Coming in, I think they're the only undefeated team. No, the Big 12 has a bunch of teams that are undefeated. It's funny the way I look at this now. Oklahoma is now an SEC football school, Matt, but there's still a Big 12 baseball school or a Big 12 basketball school until that season ends.
For another 4 months, yeah.
For at least another 4 months. Then they get to play some Big 12 baseball before they actually become an SEC baseball school. But if you're don't the conferences usually have representatives that go to all the bowl games? Is the Big 12 really sending anybody? Well, I guess they would send somebody to the Sugar Bowl, because why not? It's one of the biggest games of the year, so they got to send somebody there. But who's Oklahoma playing in their bowl game? Got all these bowl games announced. Arizona in the Alamo Bowl. And well, sure, the Big 12 will send somebody to that game, rooting for Arizona, because that's That is now the highest-ranked Big 12 football team at number 14.
Oklahoma doesn't have their quarterback and their offensive coordinator.
That's right. Dylan Gabriel's in the transfer
I wonder
portal.
if you think he'll be I guess he would have been an SEC guy staying in Oklahoma, but where do you think what's out there better? It's kind of weird.
That's what you feel about like Kyle McCord going into the portal, the Ohio State court. He sat there for 2 years waiting to play, goes out there and now he's in the portal.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is. It is really wild out there on the frontier. And this is only the first day that the transfer portal is actually open for the next 45 days.
I like Gabriel.
It is utter chaos.
He's a Kendall Briles guy. Like if you watch how Gabriel goes about it, man, he's fun to watch. He can deliver the ball, little athlete. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if he's a Bobby Petrino guy.
Hey, there's a lot. Bobby Petrino. That's if you're a quarterback out there wanting to play for a quarterback coach, that's a good one.
Guess there's a new offensive line coach as well. Eric Mateos. Are the reports coming in from Baylor where the offensive staff was all fired. They did not have the best year. But I know he's got a really good reputation as a recruiter on the line. Richard Davenport had a good column about that today. You asked me whether or not I think it's an upgrade. I don't know. I really don't. Cody Kennedy's at Mississippi State. I don't know if it's an upgrade or not, but we'll find out. And we'll be back after the break.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
We know it's hunting season, and what better way to tell your wife you're headed to deer camp than to get her flowers and leave the bank card with her to enjoy Ladies' Night Out, hosted by the Greenwood Merchants. She can use those flowers at home to remind her of how much you value her, and she can use the bank card at select Greenwood locations for special discounts. December 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. Funky Finds, Hay Heifer Boutique, Greenwood Flower and Gift Shop, Live Out Loud Apparel, Monograms and more, Shop Persnickety, and Serendipity Consignment.
This is Mark with W&W Automotive. Before you hit the holiday road, drop by and let us check your antifreeze. We'll also take a look at your battery, your hoses, belts, things like that. If it's been a while since your last oil change, well, we can take care of that too. We service all makes and models, foreign and domestic. We offer front-end work and alignments also.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984.
It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Did y'all see the interview yesterday with Kirby Smart and Norvell interviewing for the Orange Bowl, I think? Oh, man, they both just did not want to. They didn't want to be there.
Yeah, that might be a day. That might be a day where Coach, let's do this press conference in a week when we've all digested this instead of just being front and center angry. It would not be not the right idea to put those guys out in front of people. Then.
Yeah, but about the portal, Matt, I'm with you on these quarterbacks. And you've been talking about this. They're going to take advantage of this last year, and I think the guy from Oklahoma just entered the portal, Gabriel. I saw it on ESPN. So. He's going to get – it's about the market, right? So where can I get the most NIL money? And, he's a guy that probably is looked at as a fifth, sixth-round pick or something, and guess you make more in college when with this NIL than you would going pro. So I understand it. This is going to be a crazy offseason.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. So, anyways, y'all have a good one.
Well, it's fun. It is going to be a crazy offseason. But, we'll also have a sense depending on where these guys go play. Like, you would think Oklahoma's got some money to pay their quarterback. Same at Ohio State. Where are you going to go get a better deal?
You don't know who they have coming in.
That's exactly right. And also who's sitting behind them.
And I think Gabriel is one of those deals where he's a college guy. I don't know how that his game's going to translate till Sunday. That's why I said a Kendall Briles guy. He's a good college guy. Maybe the CFL, but I don't know if he can play on Sundays.
Well, I'm more interested actually in whether or not Arkansas looks at offensive linemen right now. Now that we do know, although it's not official, that Eric Mateos from Baylor will be the next offensive line coach. There's some interesting offensive linemen I saw in the portal. Kentucky lost a tackle who was the second-ranked high school player in the state of Kentucky for 2021. Injuries kept him off the field for a little bit, but he might be someone to look at. Texas Tech starting left tackle Monroe Mills is in the portal. There's a guy at Baylor that's in the portal that Mateo's coach, George Mail, 4-star out of Utah, maybe.
Oh, I like it already. 4-star out of Utah. Let me check some other things, but I like it.
JR, you're next on the McClarty Daniel hotline. What's up, JR?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Great, thank you.
Hey, you know what? Another aspect of this on the Florida State deal is, how long is it between when they played and when they will play again? Is it a month or is it over a month? Is that
they play here in about what, 3
right?
weeks? Don't they play right around Christmas?
The games are January 1st.
Yeah, okay. So a month.
So that's not really fair to that team in this aspect, is because you've got basically a whole month to get a quarterback ready for a game. And what do you have in fall practice? You got 6 weeks in fall practice? Is that right, before you won the fall season? Would that be right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got a young man that is a third string quarterback. He's highly touted. It really, I hate it for them, but I just think that's so not right to do them that way, because
you
basically got a month.
Your backup was only out the championship game. He's fine. He just had a concussion, so you're actually not down to your third string. Your second string's still the guy. He just couldn't play because he couldn't clear concussion protocol.
We have to throw out the idea of fairness in this. I think it's pretty obvious. Nobody cares about the fairness of this thing. If fairness was a feature of this system, there would be more than 4 parts of the playoff, 4 teams in the playoff when you have 5 Power 5 leagues.
What's Clint?
Fairness has never been a feature of college football. Anybody that thinks so, I don't think has paid attention. This is practically an unregulated sport. Fairness has never been a feature. There's no level playing field, and this is just a feature of the sport. It's a crazy, weird kind of drunk sport.
Yeah, what Gene Hackman say? He's like, I don't deserve this. I was building a porch, and Clint Eastwood goes, "Deserve has nothing to do with it." It's just how it goes.
Obviously, that's exactly right. I don't think deserve is any part of this. Ben in Fayetteville, you'll take us into the break. What's up, Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to name 4 coaches, and you tell me why we picked the one we did. Mike Norvell, Lane Kiffin, Eli Drinkowitz, Sam Pittman. They were all hired at the same time. Norvell and Kiffin were interviewed for here. We wound up with Pittman. Look where those other guys are playing. Look what's going on. I'm on my lunch break, and I was listening, and it just made me wonder. I was listening to some radio shows, some podcasts, and they were talking about the coaches that were hired at the same time as Pittman. And those other ones are kind of alarming because Kiffin's been to a bowl game every year at Ole Miss. Norvell, just an inch away from the national championship game. Drinkowitz, great season at Missouri. How do we wind up with Pittman and why? I would love to know your take on it. Take care, guys. Always a great show.
Well, I mean, I think first of all, in Missouri's case, that was a slow build over those 3 years. You had that blip in Arkansas with the 9-win season that I guess made us feel like it's not like that's the norm, but that's what that's what you're reaching for. Kiffin got Ole Miss to 10 wins. In his third year there? Look, I mean, as I understand, there was an offer to Kiffin, and I think he played Arkansas with Norvell. I don't know the situation with that. Same with Drinkwitz. But it feels like a conversation that we were having 3 weeks ago. But those are also, it is the same year that Sam Pittman was hired, and these programs are having their best year under those coaches right now. And Arkansas had their second worst year under Sam Pittman. Hopefully that changes in the offseason. Well, I guess it's got to change during the season. But important things happen during that offseason. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation joining halftime after this.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Brent, what's up, man? You changed your tune this morning?
Oh, Ty, I am a happy man. I was lower than whale gunk. I'm feeling so much better. We got hope. I'm excited.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
The biggest and best selection of 2023 and 24 Fords is at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford. Harry Robinson has a great selection in stock and over 24 new Fords on the way. F-150s, the all-new Broncos, Mach-E Mustangs, and the super popular Ford Maverick. Plus, get financing as low as 0% on a new Ford. And Harry Robinson has never and will never charge over MSRP. The best selection of new Fords is at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using a Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Before Petrino was hired, and he told me that he thought Mateos would be Arkansas's next O-line coach. I just kind of blew it off, like, what? But he claimed that they both had connections to him. I know what Pittman's connections. I don't know what Petrino is, but people that think that this was Pittman's decision and he just overruled what I've been told is they both were on board with this hire. So you got the two changes that some of the people wanted. You know, if you're going to keep Sam Pittman, you got to do this, you got to do that. So those two things are in place. But now the real part starts, because you got to bring in a transfer quarterback. You got to get some linemen. You probably need a couple of receivers. So all that starts now.
Does it feel like with this move with Petrino and what we're doing is that it's a 3-year window at least? It's not just a one and done. You're going to give him a couple years to hit the portal and kind of build something up?
Gee, I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say. I mean, you got all these people that think that it was a setup from the beginning, that Petrino's going to come in and be the head coach next year. I don't think that's the case. I think it's still problematic to clear him as the head coach. It was easier to bring him back as a coordinator. I think it all boils down to if they improve. I think if they improve, then yes, everything moves forward. And I will say this, because I know some people that know Petrino. I've talked to those people over the years. They were telling me right after he was fired that he immediately realized he made a mistake, that he regretted it, he was remorseful, and that from that moment, and you saw how he reacted to all that, both at the Little Rock Touchdown Club and in the press conference the other day. And what they tell me is he is on fire, absolutely on fire with a desire to turn this offense around and to make up for what he did. And he really likes living here, and he's a Razorback, and he's bleeding Razorback red. They tell you all this good stuff, and so it sounds good. I hope it's all true.
Well, I guess that means I'd expect to start seeing some, talented offensive players coming in from the portal to play for Bobby Petrino. We've only known about the guys that are going out, and that
Sure.
that pretty much goes for just about everybody in college football. But sooner or later, there'll be a trickle of players coming in. And look, you could tell, I guess, maybe I shouldn't look at it this way because, Cody Schrader is probably going to win the Burlsworth Trophy today. But, a couple of Division II receivers come in, and I guess I'd be surprised if you're looking at Division II receivers and Division II players coming in to play for Petrino. I guess I just expect a faster, quicker kind of an athlete that wants to come in and play for him. And, in the next 45 days, maybe in the next 2 weeks, we ought to have a sense of that.
Yeah, he kind of had a mixed reputation as a recruiter, as a head coach. There's no question that he picked up some good players over the years, but there were people that always said that his personality turned some recruits off, but yet I've been told he doesn't have that personality, and he could be he could turn you off in a heartbeat if he was in the wrong mood. And his recruiting had dropped off, even if he didn't get fired in 2012. It had dropped off a little bit. So I'm curious to see if the name Bobby Petrino interests people in the portal. What kind of effect does that have on a quarterback in the portal, of receivers in the portal? It should, but until you see it, you don't know.
Mike, you got a basketball game up on the hill tonight. Furman's coming in, and we know just the atmosphere that was up there against Duke. What do you want to see out of this team? I want to see him be consistent and be able to build on that. But what are you looking for this team against Furman tonight?
And, we're only 8 games into the season, but you kind of get a sense of the personality of this team, at least right now. And what I see is a team that if you fill that arena up and you put a big opponent in there, they'll play like crazy. If it's not a big-name opponent and the arena's not full, maybe they're not as bought in. So the thing you have to worry about tonight is, do they overlook Furman? I hope not. But you can't. You go back and look at that UNC Greensboro game and just look at the way they played against Duke, and you can just see an obvious difference. I mean, they beat Duke without their top scorer. So, can he light a fire under them tonight? And I get it. I mean, I'm not stupid. You can't tell players to just go out and go crazy every night. It wouldn't even be good. They'd run out of gas. But you got to come up with this taking care of business mentality, where maybe you're not on fire to win the game, but you're not just lazy on defense like they were in that Greensboro game where they're just getting beat down the floor.
That's what makes me nervous, is that if there's a way to lose a game, it's effort-wise defensively. But it's like a trust and must kind of a thing. You play lazy defensively with Muss as the coach, well, you're going to lose playing time. And I would expect that there are guys, ready to give that kind of effort. But that's the thing that makes me nervous, is that I would hope that the Greensboro loss is just like a wake-up call. Losses to North Carolina and Memphis on a neutral site, I don't think have to do with.
Those are good teams, though, too.
Yeah, that's right. Those are good teams. That's a different thing. You cannot. They're in a position now where I don't think you can lose any more out of conference games. The Oklahoma game is a different situation, but it's like, but they've been good for one loss every once in a while. One in North Little Rock or something, who was at Hofstra. You can't lose those games now.
Right, I agree. And there are some things that still confuse me. I can't figure Mekhi Mitchell out. There are nights when he looks like he's asleep or he's confused, and then there are other nights when he looks really good, and that's really important to them. Especially, you don't know what's going to happen with Jalen Graham. I don't know if this is going to be a thing all year long where some games he's okay and then he has back spasms again and he's out. But when Mitchell's not playing well and Jalen Graham is out, that changes what Trevin Brazile does. He has to almost become like a 4 or a 5 when he's really an athletic 3. And when he's not allowed to be that, it changes what he does offensively a lot. So these are just little things that, and I'm still not sure about, Ellis. He's their point guard. And thank goodness you got a true freshman in there who's playing his butt off right now, but you need two. So Ellis, he got to be consistent. And there's a few things that are still unsettled right now. But what we obviously all know is that come March, but Musselman always has these guys ready to go.
Mike, you called it a few weeks ago. You said Alabama over Georgia in the SEC championship game, and we knew somebody was going to get left out. We didn't know how it was going to unfold. Do you think they got it right? Would you change anything with this Final Four in the matchups?
Now you're gonna play into my prejudice against Texas, because I would have left them out. And I know people say you're crazy. Look, they beat Alabama when Alabama had quarterback problems. They would not beat them now. I think if you look at Texas' schedule, there were games that they almost lost. The teams the game shouldn't have been close. So, and yet I understand the thing with Florida State too. I'm sorry that the guy got hurt, but if the committee is sitting there picking the best teams, then they got left out. Although, again, I probably would have left Texas out. But here's the thing. The ACC has nobody to blame from themselves, because that commissioner voted against making it a 12-team playoff this year. So that's the real issue. There should be 12 teams. I mean, the FCS has 20 teams. If they can do it, why can't BCS have 12? And, of course, we will, but it's just taken too long to get there.
I think you basically hit the nail right on the head right there, Matt. I just nailed it. And we'll leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on with us, and we'll visit again next week, okay?
See you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation with us. That's right. You kind of get what you vote for in these cases. College football got what it deserved. We're going to talk about things you deserve. College football deserves this controversy, but controversy is a feature of the sport. It always has been. You've left out potential champions for decades, and this is just another example of it. Would Florida State have won the national championship? Probably not. But just like Matt had pointed out earlier, under the right circumstances, they're going to claim one. If they beat Georgia, they're going to claim one, and that's different than UCF the other year. 877-377-6963 to react, and halftime is right back.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move, and look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
At Red River Dodge, not only do we have new vehicles, but we also have top quality pre-owned, all the way from your big rig trucks to your luxury class SUVs. Are you needing to trade in a used vehicle? That's no problem. Here at Red River Dodge, we give top dollar for your trade-in. Whatever it is you're needing, here at Red River Dodge, we have it. Give us a call today at 501-362-5831 or visit us on the web at redriverdodge.com. And don't forget, folks, we deliver.
This is halftime.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
A ringing phone is either an opportunity or an issue, and both need immediate attention. But why pull yourself away from your core business for a phone call that AFS Business Solutions can handle for you? Utilizing services such as virtual receptionist, absentee lines, order processing, and even traditional answering service, AFS Business Solutions can handle your business calls for you 24 hours a day. Locally owned and operated, they take care of your calls so you can take care of your business. AFS Business Solutions, online at afsbs.com or at 800-264-1100.
Hey, it's James Teague. Over the years playing baseball, I've grown accustomed to closing innings, but now I'm closing cases. With almost 30 years in the business, the Teague Law Firm can help you with all family law matters, including divorce, custody, and child support. We can also help with criminal law such as traffic offenses, DWIs, and more. Call me at the Teague Law Firm at 479-877-1688. That's 479-877-1688. Visit us online at teague-law.com.
Teague Law Firm. If they can't help you, they'll talk football.
Merry Christmas from your friends at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. This month, save a whole lot of money with year-end pricing on a huge inventory of Rath Road-ready vehicles. Plus, follow us on Facebook for how you can win $1,000 Christmas recovery cash. Remember, whether you're buying a car, selling a car, repairing a car, or anything else automotive, all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Hardee's newest handcrafted recipe, candied bacon, coated with caramelized brown sugar and a hint of pepper. Try it on a made-from-scratch breakfast biscuit with egg and cheese, or with charbroiled Angus beef on a signature Frisco burger, or as its own salty sweet snack pack. Any time of day, candied bacon brings savory sweetness to all your favorite things. At Hardee's, goodness in the making. For a limited time at participating restaurants. Exclusions may apply by time of day.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Looks like Pooh Paul has gotten an offer from Ole Miss. And Lane Kiffin has tweeted a photo from the air terminal in Pine Bluff. That's exactly. I know I saw the photos of Coach Pittman and Petrino with Courtney Crutchfield, and it looks like that's exactly who Lane Kiffin is going after right now too.
Our best defensive player, I thought, was if you were to say who's number one, who you picking first, it's Chris Paul. He'll have his choice. If you're a defense. Any team in the country be lucky to have that kid, man. He's a real time. He's a what's Dick Vitale say? He's a PTPer, baby. You know, he really is.
He's no longer a diaper dandy. Never used that term for football. I hated the diaper dandy terminology anyway. Jim in Mountainburg has called us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Hi, Jim. How are you?
Oh, man. I feel nice, like sugar and spice. How about you guys?
Well, I'm not rhyming, but I'm with you.
You really think Lane's going to bring that boy to Mississippi?
I don't know. I mean, he's putting in the effort for it. He definitely is.
We shall see. Hey, I really got no problem with these four teams. I think it's his 2 best games. However, Mike was talking about his prejudice toward Texas. Don't you think if Georgia had beat Alabama, Florida State would be in? They'd have to be, because then you'd have 4 undefeated teams, right?
That would be correct. Georgia would still be undefeated, Florida State, and so they weren't going to put Alabama or Texas in without putting the other one in.
Looked to me it was pretty clear, Jim, that the committee was going to put Texas ahead of Alabama no matter what. So if Georgia beats Alabama, then you forget about Alabama. That means the Texas win over the Crimson Tide doesn't carry the same weight. So I think at that point, yes. At that point, you're talking Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State. But the Alabama win over Georgia gives weight to Texas too.
But they got that loss against Oklahoma, so they're out.
Well, but that's the crazy thing is the worst loss of any of the 4 teams, or really of any of the teams that were vying here, was Texas losing to Oklahoma. Oklahoma is, let's see here.
That's why I'd have Alabama
number
3rd,
12.
and I would have Texas 4th in the committee. I'd have Alabama versus Washington and Michigan versus Texas.
But, Jim, I'm with Mike more than anything in the idea that it's just a stupid system. A 4-team playoff is where somebody's going to get screwed. And I guess I'm just surprised that this is the first year where something like this has happened. But it also shows that the SEC was never going to get left out. It wouldn't have happened. Yeah, people have texted in, could you imagine if Arkansas went 13-0 and got left out? Well, it wouldn't happen. They're an SEC school. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. That's all I got, man. You guys have a great week.
Thanks, Jim. 877-377-6963 for your calls and your texts on the McLarty Daniel hotline. You really have 2 leagues now. 2 big leagues in college football, Matt. That's it. 2 big leagues in college football. Out of the current top 12 from the committee, 11 of them are playing in the SEC or the Big Ten next year. And that's another thing that just is not good for college football. If we are leaving out one of the major conference champions that went undefeated, and 11 of the top 12 teams from this committee play in 2 leagues, why are we even calling it a P4? Because it isn't a P4, it's a P2. And that's so obvious right now. You should just have a Big Ten SEC challenge, and that would be you could determine a champion based upon that and only upon that.
See, I'm with Mike where I would think Alabama. We might get to see it, Phil. We might get to see Alabama versus Texas in a rematch and see how that goes. But I find it hard to believe that we left Florida State undefeated 13-0 team out.
Lane did not delete that tweet. He's not afraid of being in Pine Bluff. I think he's pretty. Lane ain't afraid of anything. He's going to tell people where he is and what he's doing there, and he don't care. He's like the honey badger of coaching. He really don't care.
I got suckered into believing that he did. It is something that it seems like he would do, but delete it. A lot of coaches and players delete their tweets immediately sometimes.
Yeah, some don't tweet. Some just use it for recruiting purposes. Some use it to just do what Lane does, which I think is troll the world.
Some go in album mode.
What is album mode?
0 Dark 30.
I'm
in album mode, man. I got to go work. Yeah, holla at me later.
Stay away from me here. That's exactly right. Got our Burlsworth Trophy being announced tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think talking about nailing it. I think that if it goes, I don't even know who the other selections are, but that kid from Missouri, D2 kid that was a walk-on guy, he should be the Burlsworth. Absolutely.
I just love, there's 2 levels to Schrader's story. Coming out of Division II is one thing, but then being told you got to walk on at Missouri, it's just, all right, cool, coach, no problem. Give him the award.
Just grinding away. That's what you like to see. Getting guys like that, and it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog.
But that's also people say, well, how can somebody's in Division II for a reason, and sometimes it's skill level, and there's other times I feel there are coaches that just won't look at a running back that's 5'9" or 5'8". They just won't look at him, right? I mean, Andrew Armstrong, he's a Division I receiver, but he was too thin, he was too skinny. There are reasons why guys are not recruited by Division I.
And sometimes
teams.
when you're 17, your body's going to be so different when you're 20. Sometimes you got to go that way.
How about everybody?
Right? You mature a little bit, you get better, yeah.
Everybody. That's why it's a tough job to project those kids and see what are they going to look like, what are they going to be like in 3 or 4 years. And they're doing that when they bring them to school too. What do you think this kid's going to look like in 3 to 4 years? Well, you asked me that 2 years ago. Yeah, it's constant. Jesse in Springdale, thanks for the phone call on the McClarty Daniel hotline. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, guys. I had a quick statement and a question for you. I just wanted to say, as far as some of what I've heard from other fans about being, quote, disgusted about Bobby being hired back, I totally get those feelings. I mean, it just went down really bad last time with him. So I get why people would have some animosity. However, I do feel that deep down, even the most disgusted fans with the hire are going to be very happy if we return to 9-3 or 10-2. And that was the best possible way to get that outcome. I don't think it's going to happen next season, but give it a couple of years, I think we'll be back in line for some more wins. That being said, during his press conference, I'm sure you guys heard when he was talking about teams stealing signals and specifically mentioned Clemson.
Yeah.
I was curious if anything manifested from that statement. Are they being looked into now or anything like that?
Not that I don't think that's starting.
What did he have to play Clemson when he was at Louisville? So that would have been why. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also sometimes guys just are able to get signs legally too, whether they're from watching TV. But yes, he did mention Clemson. I'd be surprised if that kickstarts any kind of investigation. Robert in Fort Smith, real quick. We're going to go into the break with you, Robert. What's up?
Hey guys, real quick. I really don't care about the FSU thing, but Bama slays the Giants. The Giants falls to 6, and then Bama moves up. That's the part I have an issue with. You're going to drop a one team that far. I mean, that's what bothers me. And if you look at the matrix from back in the day, because Brittany was talking about it this morning, Florida State was in with the matrix system. But I know they don't use it, but just too many opinions. Y'all have to do it.
Thanks, Robert. I think he meant Bulldogs, right?
Well, the Giant, they were on top.
They were the Giant. They were the 800-pound gorilla.
And I thought Bama should be 3 and Texas 4. That's how I would have had it. If you're leaving Florida State out, it would be Michigan, Washington, Alabama, Texas.
I mean, there really was wild swings on this, really within the top 5, top 6, because Florida State and Georgia are tied at 5th. Texas and Alabama both moved up 4 spots. Georgia drops 4 spots from number 1. Just a lot of movement in there.
Well, yeah.
877-377-6963 calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. And again, as far as the Petrino thing, some people, the call from Jackie earlier, he was the first caller that used the term disgusted about it. He was the first. I don't think he's the only person that felt that way, though. We'll come back, wrap up the second hour right after this.
Gray Brothers Equipment understands the importance of your hay crop, and they're ready to help with quality Kubota products like Kubota rotary disc mowers, Kubota brand wheel hay rakes, and VV round balers attached to Kubota's M-Series cab tractor. Together, Kubota and Gray Brothers will make your hay days fun again. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Photo, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come get you some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you for supporting our local small business and keeping your dollars here in the Arkansas River Valley. I'm grateful for the opportunity to help you with low flat fees and monthly payment plans. Call me today, 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
When it comes to your vehicle dent repairs, you want a local professional that you can trust. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your place. Michael, his family, and team have been in the community for over 30 years and are the best in the business. When all the other pop-up hail damage places have packed up and left town, Littleton's is still here taking care of your vehicle every day. Stay local. Stay with the best. Stay with the name you know and trust. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair. Highway 112 off I-540 in Pecola.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Do you like paying your rent or mortgage every month? Of course not. Thanks to real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell and Shamrock Roofing and Construction, we're giving away free rent or mortgage payments for a year up to $15,000. Go to hitthatline.com and enter the free rent or mortgage for a year sweepstakes now through December 12th. Complete contest rules are at hitthatline.com. Let us pay your rent or mortgage for a year, courtesy of real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, Shamrock Roofing and Construction, and ESPN Arkansas. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Maybe someday I'll be strong. Maybe it won't be long. I'll be the one who's tough. You'll be the one who's got it rough.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I want to say I'm really happy that Jim Leland is going to be a Hall of Famer now. The committee came out yesterday. He is going to be inducted in the summer to the Baseball Hall of Fame. This was the Pirates manager when I was basically growing into the baseball fan that I became. and had a chance to thank him for his time as the Pirates manager when I was 19, which is a moment I'll never forget. And I love Leland going into the Hall of Fame. Love it. Just wish he would have won a world championship with the Pirates, or maybe more than one.
He's kind of like Doug Flutie, with the last one to do the drop kick in the NFL. Jim Leland's the last one to light a cigarette with his shoe. You know, he can just spark the match up there. He doesn't even need a lighter.
He's also probably the last Pirate ever to go into the Hall of Fame.
In the dugout, just doing his thing. That's right.
You ever have a hot foot? You're making me think of a hot foot.
If I was to see, like, if they showed a picture of a cigarette and it said who would be the face, it would be Jim Leland. That would be the next picture that would be right beside it.
He had a pitcher on one of his Pirates teams, a left-hander named Denny Nagel, who was known as the goofiest player in the sport. He routinely would give his teammates hot foots. But I would imagine, how many cigarettes of Leland's did he steal to, maybe think, the cigarette doesn't lead to the hot foot, it's the match.
That's
but he
right.
would also do the thing of, putting a wad of chewing gum with a giant bubble on one of his teammates' brims. He was the king of doing that thing too.
Man, however they put that great big league chew, and then they just wrap it around some chaw and just throw it Lenny Dykstra style, and just going for it.
You're making me gag just think about that.
And then getting up there, just getting a little opposite hit double, scoring a run. Just
the
just
chewing
doing your
tobacco
thing.
helps my grip on the bat. You didn't realize that, did you?
So that's what George Brett was claiming. It's like, what are you talking about? That's tobacco.
Don't use tobacco products of any kind, kids. There are kids in the car right now. Don't use them all, and don't smoke in the dugout either.
It took one of the greatest hitters of all time. Didn't Tony Gwynn? Isn't that part of the reason he was, because he was dipping? It was So you're right.
That's how he got mouth cancer. That's exactly right. Leland, though, is probably the most nervous-looking manager in baseball history, because the dude literally was just hopped up on coffee and nicotine every single game.
And fingernails.
Yeah. If you have any fingernails left, that's exactly right. All right, move into hour number 3 of halftime in just a moment. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. Looking for a great deal on a great vehicle? All the inventory is at McClartyDaniel.com. You can always visit any one of McClarty Daniel's 6 locations in Springdale or Bentonville. This sunny Monday moves into the 1 o'clock hour, so stay with us.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. But watch closely now, for there's one more surprise. A gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heat and air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Special financing available with no payments and no interest, plus up to $2,000 in tax credits and savings. Schedule online at gopascal.com.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
We know it's hunting season, and what better way to tell your wife you're headed to deer camp than to get her flowers and leave the bank card with her to enjoy Ladies' Night Out, hosted by the Greenwood Merchants. She can use those flowers at home to remind her of how much you value her, and she can use the bank card at select Greenwood locations for special discounts. December 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. Funky Finds, Hay Heifer Boutique, Greenwood Flower and Gift Shop, Live Out Loud Apparel, Monograms and more, Shop Persnickety, and Serendipity Consignment.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. It'll be a cool day. Our temperatures this afternoon in the low to mid-50s. Mainly clear sky tonight. And overnight low will drop down into the mid-30s. Tuesday, lots of sunshine. Our high temperatures on Tuesday in the low 50s. It looks like Wednesday we should see sunshine and highs in the middle 50s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Play like the Razorbacks, fellas. You're ready. When we hit this field, we hit it better than anybody in the country.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. I put my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Take you into the 1 o'clock hour on halftime. Phil Elson here, Matt Jones, Christian Johnston producing. We got you for one more hour on halftime. You can get with us during this segment. Connor O'Gara coming up in about 15 minutes. McClarty Daniel hotline's open for you right now at 877-377-6963 on a basketball game day, 6:30 airtime with Chuck and Zim at Bud Walton Arena. The Hogs taking on 4-4 Furman. AP poll coming out. Arizona's the new number 1 with a 7-0 record. Kansas, Houston, Purdue, and UConn rounding out the top 5. Purdue took their first loss of the year with a loss to Northwestern over the weekend. And UConn lost to Kansas over there in Lawrence, where our friend Aaron Torres was residing. Hogs are getting some votes, 14 votes in the poll. And better beat Furman, and then we'll see what happens against Oklahoma. Oklahoma has moved up to 19th in the rankings, up 6 spots. They put up 107 points, defeating Arkansas Pine Bluff over the weekend, and they are one of, what do I have here? I had a note about the number of undefeated teams in D1 basketball. 14 teams are undefeated in the nation right now. Oklahoma's one of them, one of like a handful of Big 12 teams that are undefeated right now, and Ole Miss and South Carolina are the only SEC undefeated teams. You see, Kentucky loses at home to Wilmington over the weekend, and Mississippi State lost at home to a team in Southern University that had gone 1-6 before pulling into the hump and walking away with a victory. So you never know what's going to happen. Arkansas could definitely lose this game today. I don't care what the betting line is. I've already seen that. And this is a good team out of a good league too.
Yeah, no, you're right, Phil. If we don't show up ready to work, then things like that can happen. But if we show up ready to work, we should beat this Furman team. If Mark's out, do you think he still goes L there as the starter, and then you got Devo L and with Khalif Battle, or do you have Landon Blocker in that starting role, bringing Battle off the bench? Who would your 3 guards be? Is what I'm asking you, Phil.
Well, I want Battle off the bench. I really like the role that he's come into with this. Devo.
So you start Blocker. You got Brazil.
I really do like Blocker.
Yeah, I like Blocker too. He's a guy that's been consistent. And it seems like he's getting better and more comfortable each week.
Well, he's only 8 games into his college career.
He's a baby. He's a baby, but he's his basketball instincts or his basketball IQ seems pretty high level.
He also doesn't appear to be somebody that needs to be goaded into giving 100% effort.
That's very true. He's out there giving it. He's got that Devo Davis about him. He's out there. He's going to give it his best every time. Absolutely. I want to see Brazil continue to be tough, to continue to be big, to go get those rebounds and not watch and let somebody else get it. If he's playing 28 minutes a game, Phil, there's no reason Brazil shouldn't have 10 boards every night.
And today should be one of those games. I mean, this is a small Furman team. Their front court is 6'9" and 6'5". They got a 6'11" guy that comes off the bench, but he only plays 16 minutes, and he doesn't have really big numbers anyway. So this is one of the smaller front courts, I think, than you'll face all year long.
Are they a zone team?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. I do know Brian in Ozark is on the McClarty-Daniel hotline, so let's talk to Brian. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Woo-hoo! How about that, buddy? I told you all year for 6 months, Texas would be in the college playoffs. They would win the Big 12 when everybody on this radio station and Zach and Rustin thought I was crazy, told me how great Arkansas was. Texas has never done anything.
Brian, you sound like you're celebrating. You sound like you're celebrating a national championship. I hear tears coming down your face right now. Like this is you usually sound like you have RBF, but right now, man, you are celebrating. You are celebrating big time.
Texas doesn't want to play Bama now.
That's right. Texas will beat Washington easily. Easily will we beat Washington, and we're going to play Michigan, not Alabama, for the national title.
Is this the same person that's been calling in for the last 6 months? Brian, you usually sound like you have the energy of a centipede. Now you sound like you have the energy of the sun, of maybe 10 million suns.
Because Texas is the greatest football program.
Ugh, that makes me sick. This was a former Razorback fan that's doing this. I have no problem. I'm not going to root for Texas or anything like that, but this is the worst kind of sports fan.
Washington's pretty good. It's not going to be that. I don't know who coin flip game, but the Huskies. Not since Warren Moon. You got to channel your inner Napoleon Kaufman, and I like the Huskies.
He's not even from Texas. He didn't go to the University of Texas. He was a Razorback fan when Bobby Petrino was the head coach, and now he's celebrating Texas as if he's born and raised within the Longhorn fan base, as if he's one of them. That is the most emotion that I've heard from a listener that is not Eddie from Clarksville. And Eddie's emotion is legit because he's a Razorback fan through and through. Look, I tried to give my team up one time. I tried to give the Pirates up because they don't put the effort into deserving any sort of passion from me or anybody else. But I also knew once I started looking around, it's like I can't root for any other teams. There's nobody else that I can root for. I didn't grow up in any of these other fan bases. I used to root for the Angels because we had the Travelers were their one of their feeder teams, and we had our players that were there. And it's not the same now. I don't root for any team. I don't get it. To me, it's like the worst kind of sports fan. To act like that was your team from birth, and we basically you were a free agent fan that took the 800-pound mammoth from the state to the west, and now acting like it's your team. But I do appreciate the effort, Brian. That was really fun. I mean, you literally screamed into the phone immediately when we take the phone call. It's like, hey, national champions. Now, like, I know who I'll be rooting for. I know who I'll be rooting for in that Sugar Bowl. And look, Texas very well may win the national championship. They look great. They look terrific.
Did he
that
say
secondary though can be picked on.
Did he say they would win the national championship too, or just that they'd make the playoff?
I don't remember.
He's going to look real, funny if he calls like that and then they lose to Washington or Alabama.
He is. I think he would think that the Longhorns could beat the San Francisco 49ers under the right circumstances, which would be any circumstance.
Number 1, number 2, those receivers for UW. Number 7, that running back they got has kind of channels his inner Missouri RB. He's a tough downhill runner. I mean, Washington's a physical team with some real talent on the outsides, and if your secondary is kind of weak, Washington will expose you.
They beat Oregon twice. That's a really talented Oregon team. And if they were able to hold Bo Nix and that offense down the way that they did, they could do the same thing to Texas too. But Texas I think they belong in this Final Four. They definitely belong there because they certainly look the part. If there was a team that was going to be left out, I mean, I think it would have been Alabama because I do think that the results on the field are supposed to mean something, even if it was week 2. That result is supposed to mean something. There are weight to these games, but I wasn't going to let him just go on and celebrate something that hasn't happened yet.
Florida State said, I thought all these games were weighted.
Yeah, 877-377-6963 for calls. And you have people that are ticked off here that Alabama got in. Nobody here is chanting SEC about this. That's not how I view that. But the committee would have left the SEC out of the playoff over their cold, dead hands. They would have never let that happen. Like if the sort of outrage that is coming from
What if
Florida
it would have been
State,
Alabama and Georgia instead of Alabama and Texas? Would you still have the same uproar? Would it still be?
Two SEC teams couldn't have
Georgia has the best loss out of anybody. If you say the best loss, they have the best loss, and that was it in the championship game.
They do have the best loss. Yeah, I mean Texas's losses to the number 12 team, Alabama's losses to the number 3 team, and Georgia's losses to the number 4 team. Ohio State's losses to the number 1 team.
Yeah. And then Florida State's like, we don't have any L's. We're all out of L's. We don't have any to give you.
All they could do is just beat who was there in front of them.
All we've been collecting is W's.
It's got to be a really difficult thing to look at the brand names that they beat too. Clemson, Florida, LSU.
Duke was a real football team this year. I mean, their coach just went to A&M, the number 1 money powerhouse in the country.
But even just these other programs too. I mean, there's recent national championship for Clemson. I know it's been a long time for Florida, but that's they play them every year. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to swallow. But look. These are the best teams. I think it's just not the teams that had the best seasons. Because 13-0 is better than 12-1, and that really doesn't matter who it is you play. All right, let's break. Connor O'Gara coming up in just a moment. I'm sure he might have some different thoughts on this, and he might set us straight about all of it. Anytime you're doing cold water bass fishing, make sure you've got the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue in your tackle box. The Rogue suspends. It's in that strike zone longer. You're going to catch much more fish. That's the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. It's available at Walmart, Learnet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. And halftime, we'll talk with Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South next.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
Your home for every Razorback football game.
College to midfield, the 40, the 30, college at the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Arkansas!
As you can tell, this means a lot,
Only on ESPN 95.3.
Unto us a child is given, and his name shall be Wonderful, Counselor, Emmanuel, God with us. Mike Blaylock with Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. From all of our families here at Blaylock's, we would like to wish you and your family a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is making the middle of the week something to look forward to. Wednesdays is Nacho Average Wednesday. Get $1 off all nachos every Wednesday and try the all-new ballpark-style pork nachos. And draft or bottled beers are $1 off. Every Thursday is Throwback Thursday. Enjoy some of the old Cuco's classic platters, just the way you remember them. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
Metal Mart offers high-quality, prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be the company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials you need to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. With locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, and Little Rock. Or catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
At AOG, our main goal is to deliver reliable energy to your home safely. And keeping our team members, customers, and community safe starts with awareness. Natural gas has a distinctive, strong odor, often compared to rotten eggs or sulfur. If you smell gas, leave your home immediately. Go to a safe location and call 911 in addition to AOG. Remember, if you smell gas, act fast. And always call 811 before you dig. To learn more about natural gas safety, visit AOGC.com. AOG, energy for life.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Headed to the McClarty Daniel Hotline, and it's time to talk with Connor O'Gara, national columnist Saturday Down South. Oh, we're working on getting Connor, so we'll have that in just a moment. We do have news, though, that Trevon Brazile is the SEC Player of the Week.
Let's follow it up. How do you handle success? You know, how does it go when and you know nobody plays it for individual awards, and that's just that's pretty cool. That's a tribute to his hard work and his dedication, and you know, tearing the ACL, coming back, and just all the work he's been putting in the gym. That's pretty cool. But now, what do you do? What do you do with it from here?
Played one game in the week, and we know what he did with it: 19 points, 11 rebounds.
He was the best player on the floor, I thought. Yep. I mean, for the most part, yeah.
I think Arkansas will win almost any game that he hits 4 threes. I love when he hits those threes. So it's a teardrop stroke. It goes so far up in the air.
It's nice when you don't have to worry about getting your shot blocked.
We got Connor with us from Saturday Down South. Connor, let's let you react to our 4-team playoff and see what you think.
I'm stunned. I really am. I can't believe Florida State got left out. I mean, to me, you had so many different ways in which you could have justified putting a Power 5 unbeaten team into the field. And instead, the selection committee, perhaps out of fear that it would have a repeat of 65-7 in the national championship, decided, you know what, Florida State, we just think you're so much different at quarterback. We're going to judge you based on a third-string quarterback playing who wouldn't even start in a playoff game because your second-string guy would be back. And Florida State fans have every reason to be absolutely livid with the way that this played out, because it's not supposed to come down to point spreads. If it did, then Georgia would already be in the playoff. Oregon would already be in the playoff. I mean, it is just absolutely absurd to think that FSU got left out.
Brand name? Is it brand name, or is it just expecting that if you put this team in, it's a blowout? And let's say that Jordan Travis is not hurt, that he's still the quarterback, but yet the ACC championship game would have had the same result with like both teams barely even getting to 200 yards. At that point, you got the same quarterback, but you had an underwhelming result in the ACC championship. Going by what Boo Corrigan says, I think at that point they're going to put Florida State in. This almost feels like nothing but the availability of Jordan Travis.
No, I do think it is the availability of Jordan Travis, and it's a way to justify it, right? Because they were in a spot where I think there was this hope, at least from Florida State fans, that they could maybe be like 2014 Ohio State. 2014 Ohio State got the Big Ten championship to be able to show Cardale Jones is every bit as good, if not better, than J.T. Barrett, and they demolished Wisconsin. So maybe that set the expectation too high, and it wasn't so much that they were being compared to what the offense looks like with Jordan Travis. They were being compared to what the Ohio State offense looks like with Cardale Jones. And to me, that is totally unfair, and it's ridiculous because every team that's in the playoff has had bad offensive games. Like Michael Penix Jr. had a 15-point effort in a home win against Arizona State. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the fact that Michigan in the Big Ten championship against Iowa with J.J. McCarthy was one touchdown pass in the last 5 games. They had fewer total yards against Iowa than what Florida State had against Louisville, who, by the way, has a top 25 defense. They're playing in the rain, and I just don't really buy it. I mean, Florida State's got a top 10 defense. They've got a really talented team that deserved to make the playoff, and I just thought it was a very weak way out. I didn't think it was brand recognition. I just thought it was them trying to avoid a scenario in which they could be dogged for like what they did, last year with having TCU in there, even though TCU deserved to make the field as well.
Alabama got no demerits for the same thing, barely beating a bad team in South Florida with a backup quarterback because they benched Milroe, and they got look, you got to be good to be lucky, but they got lucky against Auburn. I mean, they just did. But they received no demerits for that because the biggest win of the season, I think in the committee's eyes, and maybe in my eyes too, is Alabama winning the SEC championship over Georgia. But they didn't get demerits for the things that they could have gotten demerited for, which I guess would include a loss to Texas.
No, and here's the crazy thing. So I'm perfectly fine with Alabama in the field. I don't really have an issue with that. I would have given the final spot to Florida State instead of Texas. And I know that people are going to say, oh my gosh, well, you have to let the games matter. Texas beat Alabama. Yes, 100%. Winning to Tuscaloosa won that game. Texas also had a loss. Texas, in every other metric, was not as good as those other two teams. And so if we're looking at it from that standpoint, I would say, you know what? Alabama beating Georgia, the 2-time defending national champs who had won an SEC record 29 consecutive games, that is the ultimate trump card. It just is. And to me, I would have had no problem putting Alabama in the field as well as Florida State and leaving Texas out and punishing a Texas team that has been darn good this year, but in my opinion, still had the one loss and still had other areas where it fell short. I mean, they had 10 points in the first 3 quarters against Wyoming. I don't talk about that, but still, Florida State getting left out. It is one of the bigger injustices we've seen in this sport's history.
Yeah, football is the ultimate team game, but you're led by your quarterback. Put these quarterbacks in order, Connor, of Michigan, Washington, Texas, Bama. That's how it is in the playoff committee, the 1 through 4. But how would you rank the 4 quarterbacks? Give me the order of the quarterbacks you would have.
That's a great question. That's probably an exercise that I need to do in depth on SDS because, guys, I don't know that anybody's playing better than Jalen Milroe right now. Like, other than Jaden Daniels, I mean, like, the guy has just been insanely good. So, as crazy as it sounds, like, I might even put him ahead of Michael Penix Jr. I really might because of the way that he has cut down on his turnovers. I mean, you saw in the SEC championship. So I actually might give Milroe a slight edge over Michael Penix Jr. And then I would probably, as crazy as it sounds, I would probably have Quinn Ewers at 3, even though the guy has so much confidence in the player that he's become this year. I think he's living up to that unbelievable hype he came in with as the number 1 recruit ever at the quarterback position in the 24/7 sports era. And I'd probably have J.J. McCarthy last. You know what? If you're supposed to be a Heisman candidate and you hand the ball off 32 consecutive times in a must-win game against Penn State, to me that says your team doesn't really want to rely on you to move the ball down the field that much. So I would probably have him last, but it's a very, very good quarterback group in this college football playoff.
Have there been other years where, I mean, do you think all 4 teams, any one of these 4 teams can win it? Because there are other years where you're like, there's maybe only really 2 teams or 3 teams. I have a sense any one of these 4 teams can win the thing. And there's probably another team outside of the top 4 that could have won it too, and I'm thinking of Georgia. Like, this is one of those outlier years, Connor. We're told so often there's only maybe 2 or 3 teams a year that can win the national championship. I don't think this is that year. This is the year I'd like to see 12.
I think you're exactly right. I really do. I think if I had to guess, and I shouldn't really doubt Washington, they're probably the team that I have the least amount of confidence in, which maybe that'll come back to bite me. As great as they've been this year, I think they've played with fire a little bit more than people have kind of realized. I don't know that they have the experience, and they had the experience to get to this point. I kind of compared them to last year's TCU squad that had just so much returning depth and veterans on that squad, and they really, I mean, they were a team that didn't have anybody drafted the year before, and they returned all these guys, and they just had a smart veteran quarterback who wasn't afraid to step up and make big-time plays. I think Washington could be a little bit of that ilk, whereas the other 3 teams I look at, I'm like, yeah, I could definitely see them standing atop the national championship podium. Even Texas. I mean, Texas has improved so considerably up front on their defensive line, as we saw against Alabama. And obviously, like, when you see Quinn Ewers have the confidence to go into Tuscaloosa and win that game, like, that guy can win any game that he plays in. And A.D. Mitchell can probably have some big national championship-winning touchdown catch, just like he's done for Georgia. So I wouldn't be surprised to see any one of those teams. But Washington's the team that I probably have the least amount of confidence in.
I think it's pretty obvious we're down to 2 big leagues in college football. Forget about the idea of a P4. Connor, out of the top 12 teams in the committee's rankings, 11 of them are in the Big Ten or SEC next year. I mean, think about that. 11 of the top 12 from the committee are playing in 2 leagues next year. Why are we even doing this Power 4 thing?
You know, it's a good question because I think you need the Power 4 to, at least from the way that it sounds, just so that you're playing teams in non-conference play that you are getting respect for. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think they want that drop-off to be that significant. And I do think there is importance in having national popularity in the sport. It is why I push back on this idea of a super league in college football and what it could lose if it does that without national representation. Because I think having regional impact is really significant, and we will be getting away from that in the expanded playoff because of the point that you just brought up. And it's so easy to see when you have a Jonathan Smith leave his alma mater at Oregon State to go to Michigan State, to see someone like Mike Elko leave Duke for the Texas A&M job. Like, yeah, that's a step up, but I do think there's something to be said for being part of that Big Two, and everybody wants a piece of that pie, and right now it looks like the vast majority of that pie is going to the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, when the playoff was invented and it was 4 teams, it felt like you had 5 equal partners. you don't have 5 equal partners now. And one of them's going away, and the other 2 just aren't treated as seriously. And it's because of the teams that have had success. I mean, it's one of the reasons that we view these teams, in that way. Are there any other bowl games that kind of get your fancy here? There's some other interesting bowl games. Looking at the Missouri. Who's Mizzou gun? I know they're playing in Ohio State. That's a good one. And Kyle McCord won't be
the Penn State Ole Miss game, but
Penn State Ole Miss is a good one.
You kind of wonder who's going to be playing. Yeah.
Yeah, that Penn State Ole Miss game, I'm so glad those teams are matched up because I've been arguing for the last 3 weeks. Stop ranking Ole Miss behind Penn State. Like, stop doing it. You're just telling on yourself that you haven't actually looked at these resumes, and that could have decided getting into a New Year's Six Bowl. Now, Louisville lost to Kentucky, and that is actually what kind of opened up that spot for Ole Miss to be able to get into a New Year's Six Bowl. But I'm glad that those 2 teams are playing. It feels significant because of some of the potential returners now. TBD on Quinshon Judkins. That's one to keep an eye on in terms of portal entries. That's kind of the rumor that's been going out there. So if he's not playing, that changes what Ole Miss can do. But, yeah, I mean, opt-outs aside, I am looking forward to some of these New Year's Six games and getting to see a Mizzou-Ohio State matchup like that. I think that we will see some significance in these bowl games, even if it feels like right now we're just going to get opt-outs and portal guys galore.
The right matchup for Liberty, Oregon. Do you see Oregon maybe hanging their head a little bit? Does Liberty have a chance at all?
I think we got to know about opt-outs with a team like Oregon when, everything was on the table. And I applaud what Dan Lanning has done in 2 years there to have those types of opportunities. But, man, what a deflating way to see a season come to an end. If they don't show up ready to go, this could be reminiscent of the 2017 Peach Bowl, a game in which Auburn has everything on the table, even as a 2-loss team in the SEC championship. They beat the number 1 team in the country twice. They lose to Georgia in the SEC championship. And then they showed up against the UCF team that, had everything to play for, everything that was on the line. That could be what Jamie Chadwell is ultimately able to tap into with that Liberty squad that's been really, really good. Unique team to prepare for. So I don't want to say anything definitive, but, yeah, I would need to see what those opt-outs look like for Oregon to know how good I feel about that team winning, because it's definitely a more talented team, and they should be able to dominate in the trenches if they're at full strength.
Connor, let's do this in a couple of weeks. We'll have a better sense of who's at full strength and who's not, and that portal is going to be jammed full of players. Appreciate your time.
Gentlemen, appreciate it.
Thanks, Connor.
Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. Appreciate his time here every other Monday on Halftime. Well, you still have about a little less than 2 weeks to register to win one of 2 specialized road bikes at hitthatline.com, given away by Champion Cycling out of Fort Smith, giving away 1 adult and 1 kid's specialized road bike. You just register at hitthatline.com through December 17th, and you're entered. Simple as that. Champion Cycling will help you find the right bicycle for your child or any adult, even those who haven't been on a bike in years, or even the most serious cyclers. That's Champion Cycling, 5500 Massard Road in Fort Smith. Stay with Halftime and give us a call and a text at 877-377-6963. More Halftime after the break.
At Red River Dodge, not only do we have new vehicles, but we also have top quality pre-owned, all the way from your big rig trucks to your luxury class SUVs. Are you needing to trade in a used vehicle? That's no problem. Here at Red River Dodge, we give top dollar for your trade-in. Whatever it is you're needing, here at Red River Dodge, we have it. Give us a call today at 501-362-5831 or visit us on the web at redriverdodge.com. And don't forget, folks, we deliver.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Halftime.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep West Arc Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
West Arc Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV? What? Oh, no way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Jason Hill in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Do you like paying your rent or mortgage every month? Of course not. Thanks to real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell and Shamrock Roofing and Construction, we're giving away free rent or mortgage payments for a year up to $15,000. Go to hitthatline.com and enter the free rent or mortgage for a year sweepstakes now through December 12th. Complete contest rules are at hitthatline.com. Let us pay your rent or mortgage for a year, courtesy of real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, Shamrock Roofing and Construction, and ESPN Arkansas.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
It's kind of wild when you think of it in these terms. Matt, the first quarterback to go into the transfer portal this year was Gavin Rupp. As a kid, I don't think he played very much. He was at Rutgers. He went into the portal. He announced himself on September the 14th. He did not go into the portal until October the 26th. The most recent quarterback to go into the portal come from Maryland, Avion Smith. And I don't think he played very much there. 76 quarterbacks are in the transfer portal right now.
That's sick.
This is just Division I FB. This is Division I. I don't know if this is FCS. I don't see any FCS programs. This is all FBS. There are 130 FBS teams. There are 76 FBS quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Something tells me, Matt, not all 76 of them are going to be playing FBS football next year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, where I think Gabriel's one of the better ones. I think Will Rogers is one of the better ones. The kid out of Ohio State, one of the better ones. And didn't the DJ kid that we can't pronounce his name very well, he's one of the better.
I should have asked Connor because Connor was really good at his name. Uiagalelei.
Yeah, ukulele. He's but he's, you know what I'm saying, Phil. There's some talent out there, and then again that number about how many of these kids are going to step foot on a football field again. How many of them are going to get picked up?
Brock Vandegrift is also in the portal.
Can Florida State, can they get a transfer portal guy to come in and then they be in the top 4?
Good question, Matt.
When is that going to happen? We can just get our transfer portal guy now, and then he'll be ready.
The Cleveland Browns can, and this would be the other thing. Like, coaches, stop. I've told you this for months. Stop with the college coaches. Stop with the NFL comparisons. The Cleveland Browns just started a guy who literally was on a couch 2 weeks ago, Joe Flacco.
Joe Strong-Arm Flacco.
It does not work in college sports. You can't just sign somebody off the couch or off the practice squad or whatever, and off someone else's practice squad. It doesn't work that way. But you're right. That would be the team that would go find.
Maybe.
I don't know who's a college quarterback from a few years ago that we would be sitting on the couch somewhere, where that's who they would go get.
Yeah,
Vandegrift is a big talented quarterback. Sat behind Carson Beck this year, and 247 Sports thinks he's going to Kentucky. There's a little. Now
how about that?
Well, I ask you. So there's 76 quarterbacks in the portal. How many of them are really, worth very much as far as being, the kind of talent that you want? A lot of them are just going to be in the portal and they're going to stay there.
They might be the third string quarterback up there, and they weren't going to play anyways, so they're going somewhere for a new opportunity. But how about your boy Barry Odom? He's getting those Kansas Jayhawks again in a bowl game where Kansas is going to take on UNLV in the bowl game this year.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Which bowl game is that? I also saw another one that stood out to me is Memphis playing in the Liberty Bowl, which I'm sure has happened before. Get to play in their own stadium. And there's so many of these bowl games, I don't remember the dates they are. Memphis and Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl. And then where's UNLV and Kansas playing?
It's the Guaranteed Rate Bowl.
So that one, I think, is in Detroit.
Okay.
I think. Let's try to keep up with all of
this
stuff.
The Guaranteed Rate Bowl. It's an early one.
Yeah, it must be one of those insurance bowls. I'm trying to look and see how many running backs are in the portal. I would assume there's probably more, but as far as quarterbacks are concerned, that was a heck of a lot to see that many in there. One of those guys is going to transfer to Arkansas. Am I right about this? Well, there's 75 running backs. So there's 76 quarterbacks, 75 running backs in the transfer portal. Man, I love when things are so close to equaling out that they seem like they're the same number.
I like Augustive. I like him. Do we know what Rocket and Dubinion are doing?
Well, Dubinion is going to stay. I mean, he tweeted, this was last week, something about that he misses college football without the transfer portal.
Absolutely.
So he's staying.
Yeah. Good.
Right there. We haven't heard anything from. Have there been any offensive players that have announced?
That's a good 1-2 change of pace back if it's him and Augustive being our two backs right there. I kind of like that move. But you get AJ Green back, and Rocket hasn't declared anything.
I don't think Arkansas has lost any offensive players to the portal yet. I can't imagine that you're just waiting. They were just waiting to see who was going to be the offensive coordinator. Some of them must have their minds made up, or it's. The other side of that is, and you're always told, and you say this, and Chuck has said this too. Team was 4-8 with one of the worst offenses that Arkansas has had in decades. So, there's probably a part of us and a part of me that's saying, why is nobody in the portal right now? Maybe they're a little nervous they won't find a place to play, right?
I mean, get to work. I'm with you. If you got a scholarship, you're on scholarship right now. Get in the weight room. Start competing. What are you doing now? We missed out. We missed out on 15, 20, 30 practices. I don't know how many practices extra practices you would have got, but that's a time to develop. That's a time to scrimmage. That's a time to hit. It's a time to get better. So you're missing out on that.
We get questions about how many tackles there are right now in the portal. 63. Offensive tackles from FBS football are in the transfer portal right now. There's so many names you try to look through and say, well, who started, who played these many games? That's what the professionals in each of these coaching offices are there for, so that they can pretty much tell you whether or not they're worth anything. But there are 76 quarterbacks, 75 running backs, and 63 tackles. Now, that also does tell me teams are trying to hold on to their tackles, Matt. I don't know if Arkansas is one of those teams, though. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I like that 4-star from Utah you were talking about, but then Colorado, they had their left tackle. He entered the portal as well. So that might have something to do with it, Phil, like when you're looking around, it's like, well, who was a starter and then who was not getting any playing time?
Well, the starting left tackle out of Texas Tech is in there right now. And so I know about the number of tackles that are in there. Let me just type in a couple of letters here, and I can tell you that there are 55 interior offensive linemen. So there's about 110 offensive linemen in the portal right now, and that's day one of the transfer portal. Let's go to the phones. We've got an unnamed caller on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Hi, caller. What's your name and what's going on? Maybe this caller doesn't have a voice, too. No name.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, that's you. Hi. Yeah, keep it clean. Keep it clean. There are certain words we can't say. That's not one of them, but I didn't know the next one you might say. Let's try this again.
Oh.
Hello. You're on halftime. How are you?
This is Rod on 40.
Hey, Rod. How are you, man? Good to hear from you.
Just fine. I mean, I'm just wondering if we couldn't be in the third Pro Bowl like it never happened, But
the Disaster Bowl, right?
Yes, the Backed Into It Bowl. I still want my 5-8 season, you know that. But I'm just saying that, you guys are more familiar with Bobby than I am. Is there anybody quarterback transferring right now that sticks out at you that was a Bobby Petrino guy?
I think I'll tell you what. I mean, people have told us, well, this is the certain kind of quarterback for Bobby Petrino because Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson were tall, strong pocket passers. He also coached Lamar Jackson. I just have a sense that if you're talented and you're athletic enough, I think Bobby Petrino can work with you. So I'm not sure if there's specifically one quarterback that stands out, but anybody that's been a starter for an FBS team or a Power 5 team that's got decent numbers, decent talent, there's guys out there. But I don't think there's a specific kind of quarterback that's just a Petrino system quarterback.
Just make sure you get somebody we can print the name on the back of the jersey without running out of space.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Well, just a little bit of a curve might work okay on the back of that jersey. Thanks, Rod. Devin Manuel apparently is in the transfer portal. Yep, there it is. Starting left tackle in the portal. First offensive player, I think, that got much playing time that's been in the portal.
Well, you thought he might get in the weight room and get a little better and be Arkansas's starting left tackle next year. But you wish him nothing but success. If it's the right thing to do, and he'll be picked up somewhere.
All right, time to wrap up halftime. We'll come right back. Do that after the break.
Owned Yaeger's Hardware invites you to a holiday celebration like no other. It's a Christmas extravaganza this Saturday from 7:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. at all 4 Yaeger's locations. Save 20% off regular price merchandise. Register for door prizes and enjoy holiday refreshments. You'll love our weekend inflation buster deals. Yaeger's even has fun for the kids. And the first 60 customers get a goodie bag with their $35 purchase. Buy local and save at Yaeger's Ace Hardware. See store for exclusions.
Hey, this is Justin with JD's River Valley Restoration. I want to thank all of our customers for voting us Best of the Best Auto Detail Shop for an 8th year in a row.
Justin, tell me a little bit about ceramic coating.
We're the only licensed certified ceramic pro installers in the River Valley. We offer a lifetime warranty and a 2 or 5 year warranty on our product. Come on by and see us at 5606 Towson in Fort Smith or give us a call at 629-7486.
JD's River Valley Restoration,
where we're making new relationships one vehicle at a time.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. But watch closely now, for there's one more surprise. A gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heat and air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Special financing available with no payments and no interest, plus up to $2,000 in tax credits and savings. Schedule online at gopascal.com.
Hey, Hog fans, are you game ready? When you want to show your Hog pride, Alumni Hall is your ultimate shopping experience. The best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family. Nike Golf, Champion, Columbia, plus gifts, accessories, and all your tailgating necessities. Arkansas students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in-store, and you can earn cash back with Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located at North College Avenue, or anytime at alumnihall.com. Check out their latest awesome giveaways on social and alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Razorback fans shop.
Whether you're fishing for coldwater bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This Rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Boonville, it is time for better internet. Wave Rural Connect feeder 29-7 is open for service. If you have Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative service on that feeder, you can order internet, TV, and phone service right now. Order from your local Ozark, Arkansas provider at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I believe in miracles. Where you from? You sexy thing, you. I believe in miracles. Since you came along, you sexy thing. Where did you come from, baby? How did you know I needed you? How did you know I needed you so badly? How did you know I'd give my heart gladly yesterday?
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Monday Night Football tonight, Jacksonville, Cincinnati. Jaguars are a 10-point home favorite, minus 475 on the money line on Bet. Sarah's in. Make sure you got it on your Apple iPhone, Google Android, Any web browser, betsaracen.com. They'll also have the game on all the TVs, well, most of the TVs, because they better have the Razorback game on too, at Twin Peaks and Rogers. Sports headquarters featuring 29-degree draft beer made from scratch fan favorites and sports blasting from every single angle. They got a couple of days left at Twin Peaks for their anti-prohibition repeal day promo, which includes some fun drink specials, $3.99 Peaks Signature Taps, $3.99 Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey Shots, $5 Jack Daniels, $5 Amaretto Sour. All the info also online at TwinPeaksRestaurant.com. It's the ultimate game day experience at Twin Peaks in Rogers. More TVs, bigger screens, and scenic views. More to watch at Twin Peaks. All right, I don't see any headlines that necessarily stand out on ESPN. We just found out, I guess it happened about an hour ago while we were still kicking things around. Devin Manuel's in the transfer portal. First offensive player for Arkansas that goes in. But just like Mike Irwin had said earlier, Matt, we're just still kind of waiting on any decision from KJ Jefferson, and nothing is coming from the current Arkansas quarterback. But I also wonder, like, if Arkansas would have been in a bowl game, would this have been a moment that, you know, he might have opted out? I mean, you get. I think you got a lot of quarterbacks that might be playing next year that are going to go into the transfer portal now, because now's the time that you find your place to play. You can't just necessarily practice all month and then go into the portal, and then you get, you know, like a week or so. By that point, I think a lot of teams will have found their guy. So I guess I would have expected some sort of an announcement from KJ last week, but the portal opens today, and I don't know what to think now.
Yeah, I wonder what the move is if you feel like you're getting behind. And, you know, how much conversation can you have with teams before you enter the portal? How much after? You know, so you wonder. I don't know what the process is. I'm new to it as well.
It also feels to me. I know Sam had said, you know, we're not going to tamper necessarily, but other teams are doing it, and it seems like, I don't know. I feel like every team is doing it. So if other teams in your league are doing it, and nobody's really paying attention, meaning the police, you know, the folks who run the show, no one's paying attention. Somebody's talked to KJ then by now. Somebody has. And I would hope Arkansas has talked to somebody too, through whatever back channels. These guys have the players' phone numbers from years when they were being recruited. Sometimes those phone numbers don't change. Same with Twitter accounts, email addresses. There's a million different ways to contact somebody that nobody necessarily has to know about. I don't know if I'm advocating rule-breaking, Matt, but I do see that if you're saying everybody else is doing it, well, why aren't you then? I think somebody's contacted KJ, and I would just imagine that's called due diligence.
I wonder if there's a gym out there, you know, like we got from Alabama, Drew Sanders a couple years ago. You wonder, you know, if we're going to be able to pluck somebody that's
found good players in this league to come play for.
Hazelwood, too. I know he was an Oklahoma guy, but, I mean, he contributed a lot.
Portal craziness, it kind of feels like a 12-month thing, but, man, these next 45 days are even wackier than that. By far. And that's some stuff we'll kick around tomorrow, which also includes, of course, Arkansas versus Furman. Guys, great to be back after a weekend. There was so much to get to, and I feel like we didn't even hit on all of it, so good thing we got another. We're not doing a show on Friday because we've got our company Christmas party, so we only have another 3 days left to kick this stuff around. And have a great rest of your Monday. For Matt Jones, for Kristen Johnston, I'm Phil. Thanks for tuning in. That's halftime. Get up, get out, and get better.
Your number one Arkansas fans, auto owners,